Welcome to today's Illuminations event, Global Conversations again. I'm Daphne Lei, Professor of Drama and Interim Director of Illuminations. Well, global conversation is something we started this quarter. My idea is as long as we could overcome the time zones, we can do anything. So today, it's 6 p.m. here in Los Angeles, but it's 5:30 a.m. in Tehran. And that's how we're gonna have this conversation today. So less than a week ago, the United States elected a new president. And one of the immediate change that the world has speculated is the change of international relations between the US and the foreign nations. How does such change affect people's lives, hopes, and dreams? When we talk about American dreams, we believe that the success and happiness can be achieved through hard work and perseverance. But how do immigrants fulfill their American dreams? Can you imagine if the opportunity to pursue your dream is based on a lottery system? So this week, we are exploring such American dreams from Iranian point of view. Today, we are going to screen the documentary Winners, which is about 53 minutes long. And then we're going to have a conversation with the director, Omid Abdollahi, after we screen the film. And then the conversation will be translated by PhD student Talin Abadian. And on Friday, we will have a staged reading of a new play written by Talin Abadian called A Play About Flags. It's about the story of two women who work in a factory that produce American flags in Iran. So it's at 5 p.m. on Friday. So without further ado, let's start with the film today.
Good afternoon and good morning to those who are joining from different time zones. I would like to thank you for staying with us, for watching the documentary with us, and now for joining us for a conversation with the filmmaker who is joining us live from Tehran. It's early morning in Tehran, and we are grateful that he can be with us now. I would also like to thank Dr. Daphne Lei for her support in bringing this documentary to UCI Illuminations. I would now just briefly introduce Mr. Abdollahi, and then we will have I will have a few questions for him, and then we will open up the floor for the public. If you have any questions, feel free to type it in the Q&A, and we will hopefully will have time to address all your questions. Mr. Abdollahi is an Iranian filmmaker, producer, director, and film editor. He has made several documentaries which have received national and international acclaim. He started his career in late 1990s, and his films have participated in over 50 domestic and international film festivals. He was awarded a number of significant international awards, including the Grand Prize of Filmmakers section at Sapporo International Film Festival in Japan in 2015 for his film Glimmer. This movie also received the Critics' Choice Award from the 35th edition of Clermont-Ferrand International Short Film Festival, which after Cannes is the second largest film festival in France. Mr. Abdollahi has another very acclaimed movie from 2017 called Sohrab, A Journey, which is about the renowned Iranian filmmaker, the late Sohrab Shahid Saleh. This documentary that we just saw, Winners, was first screened at the documentary film festival in Iran called Cinema Verite. in 2016. It had 2 screenings, but unfortunately, official license for public screening for the film in Iran is still pending. Winners won the funding from Beta Film IDFA International Documentary Festival in Amsterdam, and the post-production of the film was done in the Netherlands. آقای عبداللهی خوش آمد میگم. متشکرم که قبول کردین این ساعت صبح زود تو ایران با ما گفتگوی داشته باشین. سوال اول من این هست: چی شد که موضوع لاتری گرین کارت رو انتخاب کردین برای این فیلم؟ What made you interested in the subject of green card lottery as a documentary film, for a documentary film?
من هم اول سلام میکنم به همه دوستان و مخاطبین محترمی که فیلم رو دیدن و امیدوارم که از تماشای فیلم لذت برده باشن. این در اول.
He is thankful and he is very glad to be able to join us and to have his documentary film screened at UCI, and he is hoping that you have all enjoyed the film.
یه تجربه جدیده برای من به عنوان فیلمساز که با این شکل با مخاطبم روبرو بشم و امیدوارم که این به زودی تموم بشه و ما حضوری بتونیم با مخاطبمون در ارتباط باشیم.
This is a first time experience as a filmmaker to have this setting, this Zoom setting, as a place to have a movie screening and also to be able to chat with the audiences. And he's hoping that this situation will be over soon and we'll be able to have a physical, we see each other in a physical space.
و اما پاسخ سوال شما این که خب مسئله مهاجرت مسئله خیلی مبتلا به خیلی از جوامع است و مردم کشور من هم ایران سالهاست که با این مسئله درگیر هستن و مبتلا به جامعه من هم هست. من هم مثل خیلی از هموطنام یک بار در نهایت به مهاجرت فکر کردم در زندگیم و به همین دلیل از روزی که به این مسئله فکر می‌کردم همیشه دنبال این بودم که یک مستندی در مورد این موضوع بسازم.
The issue of immigration is something that many societies deal with, and Iran as a society is not an exclusion. He has always been interested in why all Iranians at least once in their lifetime have thought about immigration, and he has in his lifetime at least once thought about leaving the country and immigrating, and he has always been interested in making a movie about immigration.
یه نکته خیلی مهم بگم که قبلا مهاجرت در مثلا کشورهایی مثل ایران بیشتر برمیگشت به اقلیت‌های مذهبی و در واقع این دست از افراد مهاجرت می‌کردن به خاطر اینکه یک کشوری بود که شاید این اقلیت‌ها رو خیلی به رسمیت نمی‌شناخت. ولی در سال‌های اخیر مثلا 30-40 سال اخیر سیل زیادی از مردم به خاطر مسائل اقتصادی و سیاسی دارن مهاجرت میکنن و این مسئله کاملا تغییر کرده و خب آمریکا هم اولین خواستگاه این مهاجران هست.
Previously, Iranians who belonged to religious minorities would immigrate to other countries, but in the recent 40-30 years, Iranians have been immigrating due to economic situations, due to political situations, and this notion of immigrating and the reason behind, the motivations behind immigrating has changed drastically in the past years.
و مسئله مهاجرت از طریق لاتاری گرین کارت موضوعی است که شاید خیلی از آدم‌های یک جامعه بهش فکر میکنن چون میخوان شانسشون رو امتحان کنن و این شیوه از مهاجرت شیوه است که هر کسی به خودش اجازه میده یک بار شانسش رو امتحان کنه، حالا در هر سطح سواد یا سطح در واقع اقتصادی که باشه دوست داره این شانسش رو امتحان کنه.
And the green card lottery system offers this risk, this chance, this once in a lifetime opportunity that people from all over the world want to maybe just at least once in their lifetimes take the chance and see if they can win the lottery and have this opportunity of coming to America, which for Iranians is maybe has been one of the first places people would want to travel to.
برای من خیلی جالب بود که ببینم که از این طریق وقتی افراد از این طریق میخوان در واقع مهاجرت کنن با چه چالش‌هایی روبرو میشن. همین.
And he was always interested to see the challenges behind people who win these green card lotteries, the Iranians who win green card lotteries, and what are the challenges that they face in getting their green cards and traveling to America. So my next question would be, how did you find these participants? سوال بعدیم اینه که این متقاضیان رو چجوری پیدا کردین که برای فیلم بتونین انتخاب کنیم؟
ببینید من خب ببینید فیلمسازی مستند وقتی که بخوایم با افراد جامعه در ارتباط باشین یک چالش بزرگ داره و اونم فرایند اعتماد سازی هست.
Documentary filmmaking, one of the challenges behind documentary filmmaking is to establish this trust between subjects and the filmmaker, between people who you're going to make a film about and the filmmaker.
خصوصا وقتی که شما توی ایران زندگی بکنید و یک جامعه‌ای است که با مسائل مختلفی که مرتبط با سیاست میشه درگیر هست، افراد خیلی سخت اعتماد میکنن تو موضوعایی که اینجوری ملتهب هست و مربوط میشه به مسئله سیاسی.
Especially in Iran, which is a highly political society, people find it harder to trust because the subject of immigration to America is like an inflammatory subject, and people find it hard. People usually find it difficult to trust filmmakers.
من و دستیارانم برای اینکه بتونیم این افراد رو پیدا بکنیم در چند نقطه از تهران در واقع مستقر شدیم و میرفتیم توی لابراتوارهای عکاسی و با افرادی که برای اولین بار می اومدن و عکس میگرفتن برای شرکت در قرعه کشی گرین کارت صحبت میکردیم و اطلاعاتشون رو میگرفتیم.
He had a team of researchers who would place in different locations in studios who would take for pictures. So they would place themselves in these picture studios. So people who would want to participate in the green card lottery would go to take their pictures, their photograph, and they would just get their information and then later on contact them and see if they are willing to be part of this documentary.
دقیقاً از همونجا بود که ایده این استودیوی عکاسی به توی فیلم اضافه شد. اونجایی که میان میشینن جلوی دوربین و با در واقع دوربین صحبت میکنن متقاضیان گرین کارت، متقاضیان لاتاری.
And this space where people would sit in front of a camera to have their pictures taken, this idea of having people speak to the camera about their hopes and wishes and their desires came up in this setting, in having to wait for people to come in to have their pictures taken.
به هر حال یک پروسه خیلی سخت بود. ما تو طول مثلا 3 ماه یه تعدادی از افراد زیادی مثلا حدود 70 یا 80 نفر رو در واقع انتخاب کردیم، اسامیشون رو و کانتکتاشون رو نوشتیم و اطلاعات تماسشون رو و بعد در مرحله بعدی باید از اینا خواهش میکردیم که بیان و با ما وارد گفتگو بشن تا ما اون شخصیت ها رو پیدا بکنیم.
It took about 3 months for them to gather information about 70 individuals. They had their information taken down and then they later contacted them and after conversations with the characters, they decided to pick people to have as like the main characters of the documentary.
این موضوع برای ما هم یه ذره چیز بود، در واقع جالب و غیر قابل پیش بینی بود، چون نمیدونستیم از اون تعداد آدمی که به ما اطلاعاتشون دادن چه کسانی همکاری میکنن و اصلا چه کسانی برنده خواهند شد و این برای ما یه ریسک بزرگ بود.
They were also taking a risk because they had all these people who was participating in the green card lottery, and they didn't know who would win actually the green card, and then which one of them would be willing to continue this journey for the film.
و ما باید صبر میکردیم تا زمانی که در واقع اعلام بکنن نام برندگان رو برای دوره بعد و چیزی حدود فکر میکنم 5 یا 6 ماه باید انتظار میکشیدیم یا بیشتر که ببینیم که آیا از اون لیست ما کسی برنده میشه یا نه.
After the selection of the participants in the green card lottery, they had to wait for the actual results to come out, which took about 5 to 6 months. And so they have to wait to see which one of these characters had actually won the green card lottery.
و خب این اطمینان رو نداشتیم که همه اونها یعنی اونهایی که ما مد نظر اون هست با ما همکاری کنن و این برای ما خیلی سخت بود چون چند بار شخصیت‌های فیلم رو عوض کردیم.
And they weren't sure which one of those people were willing to be part of the movie, and in this process they had to change several times which characters to feature in the movie.
همه بیشتر افرادی که در واقع با ما در ارتباط بودن یک نگرانی داشتن، اونهایی که برنده شده بودن، اون چند گروه کمی که برنده شده بودن یک نگرانی داشتن و اونها نگرانیشون این بود که اگر با ما همکاری بکنن ممکنه پروسه مهاجرتشون تعلیق بشه و با مشکل روبرو بشن.
The few individuals who had won the green card lottery, they all had this preoccupation of being part of this project, and they were nervous about whether involvement in a documentary as such would hinder their visa status or the process of their getting the American visa.
در نهایت ما با جابجایی این کاراکترها بالاخره به این دو شخصیتی رسیدیم که در فیلم می‌بینید.
And finally, after many changes, they were able to have these two characters as the main characters in the documentary. My next question is about the experience of documentary filmmaking in Iran. تجربه ساختن فیلم مستند تو ایران برامون جالبه که بدونیم که چطوری هستش.
خب فیلمسازی مستند وقتی که با انسان‌ها در ارتباط باشیم همیشه سخت هست، همونطور که قبلا هم گفتم، به خاطر اینکه فیلمساز باید با اون افراد در واقع یک ارتباط خودمانی یا ارتباط نزدیک برقرار کنه.
To make a documentary about people, about human beings, has always this restriction and this difficulty and this challenge of being able to establish this trust and this close relationship with people. So that's always a challenge.
این روزها در جامعه ایران به هر حال شرایط یه مقداری شاید شرایط اعتماد به دست آوردن افراد خیلی سخت‌تر هست و ما باید زمان زیادی رو برای این فرایند سپری کنیم.
And establishing this trust, especially nowadays in the Iranian society, has become more difficult. It's difficult to establish this trust with people, and that's been a challenge.
البته این موضوع فقط در شهرهای بزرگ ایران مثل تهران یا شیراز اینها خیلی مشهوده، ولی در روستاها این اتفاق خیلی راحت‌تر، یعنی این اعتماد خیلی راحت‌تر اتفاق میفته و اگر یک فیلمساز در روستا مثلا فیلم بخواد بسازه خیلی براش مسائل راحت و ساده تره. ولی در شهرها پیچیده تره.
It's interesting that when you pick a large city like Tehran or Shiraz, this trust building becomes more challenging. But if the subject is situated in a rural area, in villages, in outskirts of towns, this trust building becomes much more easier and much more fluid.
و مستندسازی زمانی برای ما سخت‌تر میشه که سراغ یک موضوع ملتهب اجتماعی بریم، چون اون موقع دیگه نگاه نظارتی دولت و اصلا مردم تغییر میکنه و یه مقدار کار رو برای ما سخت‌تر میکنه. موضوعی که به مسائل ملتهب اجتماعی مربوط میشه یا از نظر حکومت در واقع موضوعی حساسی است در واقع.
And it becomes, documentary filmmaking becomes more complicated if you pick subjects that are inflammatory, that are considered maybe taboo, both socially and politically, and then the governmental supervising and the governmental censorship comes in play, and then picking these subjects that are a little bit problematic may add another challenge for documentary filmmakers.
و من باید متاسفم بگم که بالاخره تو این 30-40 سال اخیر آمریکا هم به عنوان یک کشوری هست که دولت مردان ما و دولت مردان آمریکا با یک خصومتی با هم در ارتباط هستن و یه جورایی آمریکا هم به نوع یک موضوع تابو است در ایران برای فیلمساز.
The subject of America in itself has become a taboo for Iranian filmmakers, Iranian documentary filmmakers, because of the political tensions that's been going on between the two countries in the past 40 years. And my last question is to just tell us about what you're working on, if you have anything new, any new projects. سوال آخرم راجع به پروژه جدید اگه دارین و اگه فیلمی دارین که دارین روش کار میکنین برامون جالبه که بدونیم الان روی چی دارین کار میکنین.
من به زود در واقع اخیراً یک فیلم کوتاه داستانی رو تموم کردم تولیدشو و توی پروسه در واقع پخش بین‌المللی اون به فستیوالا هستم و الان هم در حال نگارش فیلمنامه بلند سینماییم هستم و امیدوارم به زودی بتونم بودجه مورد نظرم رو پیدا بکنم و اون فیلم رو بسازم.
گفتگوهای شبانه منظورتون هست؟
حرفهای شبانه و Nightly
Whispers. He has recently finished a short fiction film called Night Whispers, which is a has a social subject, and he is now in the process of having it submitted to international festivals, and he is also writing a long fiction film script. Feature film, yes. If any of the audience members have any questions for Mr. Abdollahi, please write it. We would love to have it. We have a question from Dr. Katrak. Thank you for being here. She writes, very fine and moving documentary. How was the subject selected? Did the filmmaker follow different people and select who to follow? Another question, how many Iranians are successful in any given year? I think the first question we answered in our discussions. سوالی که میپرسن این هست که میتونین بگین که در طول سال، در هر سال چند ایرانی برنده گرین کارت لاتری میشن؟
واقعیتش اینه که آمار دقیقی ندارم از این، ولی میدونم که این متغیره، یعنی این که هر دوره از این در واقع لاتاری، هر دوره از این قرعه کشی تعداد ایرانی ها متفاوت بوده در این سالها. دوره‌ای بوده که مثلا بین 100 تا 200 نفر برنده بودن و دوره‌ای بوده که زیر 100 نفر و حتی بعضی وقتا بالاتر. این متغیره، کاملا متغیره و من دلیلش رو نفهمیدم.
It changes every year, so there has been years that almost 100 to 200 Iranians won the lottery, and then there were years that less than 100 people were successful in getting their green cards. And I believe a few years ago, Iranians were just taken off the green card lottery system. I think due to the travel ban.
So the next question is,
Yeah.
are you planning to follow them and to see how they're doing in the US? And my question is also like, Shahriyar, was he able to give a concert in the US?
بله، برای مخاطبان جالبه که بدونن که سرنوشت این دوتا شخصیت چی شد، الان چی کار میکنن، کجا هستن و آیا شهریار تونسته توی آمریکا کنسرتی برقرار کنه یا فعالیت موسیقیش ادامه بده.
بله، ببینید همینطور که اونها با یک شانس در واقع این مسیر رو شروع کردن، فکر میکنم وقتی وارد ایالات متحده هم میشن اون موقع هم باید یک شانس دیگه داشته باشن که بتونن ادامه بدن به زندگیشون. من زندگی شهریار رو دنبال کردم. اون الان یک بند موسیقی، یک گروه موسیقی تشکیل داده و نسبتا موفقه توی کارش و داره فعالیت میکنه.
So these people, when they participate in the green card lottery, they have to take a risk. And then after they come to the United States, they are also taking another risk to whether they are going to be successful or they are going to be able to do whatever they had dreamed about. So he has followed Shahriyar, and he says that Shahriyar has a musical band in America, and he has been relatively successful in continuing his musical career in America, and he has a musical band.
من بعضی وقتا از طریق فضای مجازی کنسرتاشون رو دنبال میکنم و اون و همسرش الان تو یک گروه موسیقی خیلی خوب دارن فعالیت میکنن و به نظرم که موفق شدن.
He is following Shahriyar and his wife through social media and has seen that they are having some concerts, and it looks like they made it. It looks like they are successful.
من مطمئنم که از ایران، یعنی از اینکه ایران باشه، در واقع اونجا که هستن خوشحالتر از ایران هستن، حداقل اینو میدونم.
And he is almost
به خواستشون در واقع که موسیقی به اون خواستشون رسیدن، چون موسیقی رو خیلی دوست داشتن.
And he is almost certain that Shahriyar and his wife are happy, and they're happy with where they are in America, and because their main goal was to follow their musical career and have music as a profession professionally. So they have been able to do that, and he thinks that they are happy now.
اما نمیدونم که تو زندگی چقدر دچار سختی و چالش هستن، اینو نمیدونم.
But he doesn't know if they are having any challenges or in their own lives. So what he sees is from their social media posts, and looks like they're doing fine.
شهاب هم فکر میکنم که در کنار همسر و فرزندش یک زندگی آرومی رو داره سپری میکنه در آمریکا. از اون خیلی با خبر نیستم، چون اون خیلی آدم اجتماعی نیست و خیلی با من در ارتباط نیست.
He is not in touch with Shahab because he is sort of an introvert character, but he is sure that he is at least he's having a peaceful life with his wife and his daughter.
اما اینا نمونه‌هایی از حالا به هر حال برندگان هستن. شاید آدم‌های دیگه باشن که خیلی تو شرایط مناسبی نباشن. به هر حال مهاجرت یک ریسک بزرگه.
So these are just two examples of people who immigrate to America, and we cannot say that all immigrants achieve their dreams. So there may be people who are not as successful as, for example, Shahriyar is, and like the main message is that immigration is a risk, that you don't know what's going to happen.
Is US the top destination?
آیا آمریکا گزینه اول برای مهاجرت ایرانی هستش؟
ببینید، بله، رویای آمریکایی در کشور من هم خب خیلی، در ایران هم خیلی طرفدار داره و خیلی افراد برای مهاجرت آمریکا رو انتخاب میکنن، منتها خب همه امکانات چیزی کاملی ندارن برای این مهاجرت، برای همین به شانس و لاتاری رو میارن. برای همین من تو تحقیقاتم به این رسیدم که به نوعی آمریکا بیشترین ایرانی رو بعد از ایران در خودش جا داده و یک جورایی انگار که ایران دومه برای ما، برای ایرانی ها. این در حالی است که دوتا حکومت ها کاملا با هم در تضاد هستند.
In America, America has the largest population of Iranians after Iran, and it's sort of considered as the second Iran for Iranians, the second home for Iranians. And this is paradoxical because the two countries don't get along politically. But in his research, he has discovered that Iranians do take America as a top destination, even though the road to coming to America is very difficult. That's why people tend to participate in this green card lottery every year to take their chances.
Yeah, I find the endings very moving because I was reminded of this poem by Warsan Shire saying, "No one leaves home unless home is the mouth of a shark." So the idea is, we love home. We don't want to leave unless, we have to. So a question here is similar to that, to ask about, we see a party scene when they just want to the lottery, they're very happy, right? But when you leave, we see the scene at the airport, right? It's I remember my own story, right? So can you just talk a little bit about kind of like the feeling between this very happy and then very sad? So this is questions in the chat.
سوالی که پرسیدن توی چت این هستش که ما صحنه می‌بینیم که پارتی گرفتن، میرقصن، خوشحالی میکنن که گرین کارت برنده شدن و صحنه رو داریم که توی فرودگاه دارن گریه میکنن و خیلی دل شکسته هستند از این جدایی و این دوتا احساس هست که خیلی جالبه که توی فیلم ما دیدیم. آیا حرفی دارین در این باره برام بزنید؟
من صحبت خاصی ندارم. این احساسی است که فکر می‌کنم هر کسی در زمان مهاجرت داره، اون احساس غمی که در واقع دور میشه از خاک و وطن و خانواده‌اش، ولی خب از یه بابت هم خوشحاله برای اینکه شاید یک زندگی بهتری رو پیدا بکنه.
This is a duality between so when you leaving your country, leaving your parents, leaving your land is tragic and it's heartbreaking, but then there is also this aspect of it that you are going for a chance of a better life. So like the dancing and the happiness is for that chance of a better life, but then the other side is the pain of leaving behind loved ones or just the country.
مسئله‌ای که من همیشه به عنوان فیلمساز خودم داشتم و در زمان ساخت این فیلم هم باش درگیر بودم در ذهنم این بود که چرا یک انسان این فرصت رو نداره که در واقع یک زندگی مورد علاقه یا زندگی مورد نظر خودش رو در سرزمین خودش داشته باشه. چرا باید برای یافتن یک زندگی نرمال و بهتر دور بشه از آن زادگاهش؟ در واقع این برای من یه مسئله مهم بود همیشه.
One of the important things that he's always considered is that why would a human being have to leave their own country for having a normal basic life, not a life, not like an extraordinary life, but like just a basic normal life. So that's always been in the back of his mind.
All right. So we are at time. So thank you so much, Nanum Omid, and thank you so much, Talin, and for translating for us. If you want to know more about the subject of Iran and immigration, don't forget to tune in 5 p.m. on Friday, and we are going to have a stage reading of Talin's play. It's about two women making American flags. Why? You will find out.
Thank you so much for being
Thank
here.
you so
Thank
much.
you. ممنون آقای عبداللهی.
ممنون از
مرسی.
شما و از اینکه فرصت این در اختیار من قرار دادین تشکر میکنم.
Thank you for this opportunity to everyone. Thank you.